that, and we see birds falling out of the sky and fish dying, and imperialism, it's over. It is over, and any pretense that other North Americans have to keep on maintaining a life and ignore this is ridiculous. Our responsibility to wake up our relatives, our friends, other white people, to bring them over to their own future, our own future, the only thing that we're going to have to hold on to as this Titanic sinks is the struggle for African liberation. That's going to defeat imperialism and bring about a world in which all human beings can finally live. And in a way, the African Revolution is evolution, because it will bring humanity to a higher level. It will set a stance for a true morality for the entire world. I mean, you know, it's been the African Revolution and the struggles of indigenous and colonized peoples that have shown us that Columbus was the agent of genocide. That Scott was just mentioning the other day how Columbus made his money in trafficking indigenous children in a sex trade, and among other things, he was also sold enslaved African people as well. And the other day, the Pope made a statement that something like, well, in the 1950s, pedophilia, as he said, was considered a normal part of manhood and childhood. He made this statement, and nobody, went. And he said that it wasn't a matter of absolute morality, of something being absolutely wrong or absolutely right. It was a matter of comparing it to, what was the norm of the day, which is. But what is it that has created even a sense of morality in the world, that there are things beyond which you can't do, even imperialism can't do anymore? It's been the voice of the oppressed African, the voice of the oppressed indigenous and colonized people all around the world who set the terms in their struggle for how human beings must relate to other human beings. And it's only begun because they don't have power yet. But imperialism is vicious. It is the most brutal system that has ever existed on the planet Earth, and there is no way that we as white people can ever rectify that we can't reform it. It was born parasitic. It was born sucking the blood of African people. It was born on blood and suffering and rape and child abuse and pedophilia and enslavement and working people to death and stealing their resources, humiliating them, degrading them, destroying their resources. Look what it did to the Mayan and the Aztec, who had brilliant understandings of astronomy, all of which was destroyed, except for 3 books, which accidentally were saved. And this system has to go. And we can find our humanity in standing in solidarity with African people, comrades. That is the only place, and we have to take this message out. And I want to say, too, that it is extremely important that the African People Solidarity Committee exists under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. Because when left to our own devices, we will always come up in our own interests. We will always find a way to come up in our own interests at the expense of African people and everybody else. It has to be under the leadership. We have to be part of the strategy of the African Revolution itself. And this gives us the ability to overturn our own material basis of opportunism, to jump off this pedestal that has given us a material life at the expense of the suffering of the vast majority of humanity, and gives us a role that we have to play, and that we can do this. we can win thousands and millions of other white people to the stand, and this is our work now. Uhuru, comrades.